Good morning everyone. Today we will study magnetic field due to a current carrying circular loop. So what we have today, as you can see in the figure, we have current carrying loop which is placed in the YZ plane. This loop is present in the YZ plane. You can see three axes we have taken, X axis, Y axis and Z axis. So we have taken a loop. This loop is present in the YZ plane. This is your YZ plane. Okay, and along the x-axis means x-axis, if the loop is present in the YZ plane, then x-axis will be always perpendicular to YZ plane. That means you can also say that this x-axis is also perpendicular to the plane of loop, because the loop is present in the YZ plane. I hope you understood these facts. After this, you can also see current is flowing in the current carrying loop. This current is flowing in the in anti-clockwise direction. In anti-clockwise direction, in what way? Like if suppose you are standing here at this side, at point P you are standing. P is a point which is at a distance of x from the origin. So at P point you are standing and looking this loop. When you look this loop, you will come to know that the current in this loop is in anti-clockwise direction. Now I hope you understood the direction of current, position of this current carrying loop, and the point where we have to find out this magnetic field. Where do we have to find out? We have to find out magnetic field at this point P, okay, which is lying on the x-axis. X-axis is perpendicular to this loop, or you can say perpendicular to YZ plane. So to both the things it will be perpendicular. Now after that, because we will be using here Biot-Savart law, which tells us about magnetic field due to a small current element, so for that we need a small current element. This is current carrying loop. From this current carrying loop we will take a small part at the top of the ring, current carrying ring also you can call it. Now this current carrying this small current element will be having a direction. That direction will be we can have that direction with the help of direction of current, because the direction of current in the loop is flowing like this, in this way. Then at this point the DL will be having a direction like this, which we can find out by drawing a tangent, like we studied in the Biot-Savart law. After that, from this small current carrying loop we have connected by a line to point P, and the distance between current carrying element and point P, where we have to find out field, we have taken it equal to R, and in vector form you can say it is R vector. Okay, R vector will be having direction from current element towards point where we have to find out the required field. Okay, after all these things, what we have till now, we have a small current element, we have its direction, and remember children, in the same direction, okay, nothing, this is the direction of current element, right? After this, you just check if this loop was present in the YZ plane. If this loop was present in the YZ plane, then we can say this DL vector will also be in the YZ plane. If there is a vector which is present in YZ plane, right? There is a vector which is present in YZ plane, and there is a line going towards point P. This line you can say it is in XY plane. Okay, there will be so many planes, the figure is very difficult to understand, so you have to pay attention. Okay, I cannot do anything. Let us see here. This DL is present in YZ plane. Good to see. This line is present in XY plane. All the planes, if you don't know, then all the planes will be perpendicular to each other. Like you can say, if you have YZ plane, it will be perpendicular to XY plane, and these both planes will be perpendicular to XZ plane. So all these planes will be mutually perpendicular to each other. Now again you understand, this dl is present in yz plane. This r vector is in which plane? xy plane. If the planes were perpendicular, then we can say that dl and r vector will also be perpendicular to each other. Now why we are finding out this? Let us come here. Using Biot-Savart law, due to a small current element, we can write magnetic field will be mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sine theta upon r square. We used to write theta here, but theta we will consider an another angle, so we have not taken theta here. What we have taken? Alpha. This alpha is the angle between dl vector and r vector, which is 90 degree. So alpha will be equals to 90 degree. This we put here, and after putting the value, I will get dB is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl upon r square. This will be my magnetic field. Okay. After this, also remember the direction. What will be the direction of this dB magnetic field? You remember, just recall, we studied in Biot-Savart law that the direction of magnetic field will be perpendicular to plane carrying r vector and dl vector. Remember? So this r vector and dl vector perpendicular to these two, we will be having our magnetic field, which we have represented here at point P. So this, like this, we represented the direction of magnetic field at point P, which will be perpendicular to plane carrying dl vector and r vector. Okay. After all these things, let us see what we have next. Okay, from figure. Now from figure, what can we say? This small r square is equals to x square plus r square. R square, small r is this hypotenuse, capital R is radius of the ring, and x is the distance of point P from the center of ring, or you can say origin. Then using Pythagoras theorem, very easily we can write, nothing special here we have. So what we did here, in place of r square we have written x square plus r square. After substituting, we will get this result. Then dB perpendicular component. If we came to components part, then first of all we have to understand the components into which this dB is divided. This dB is divided into its components. One component you can see it will be perpendicular to x-axis, and the other component could be parallel to x-axis. Component parallel to x-axis is dBx, and component perpendicular to x-axis is dB perpendicular. Correct? Now these components we have due to magnetic field, due to this magnetic field which was due to this current element, right? Which was due to this current element. Now if you can have these components, then children, what we can do, we can consider one more component. We can consider one more component, a small current, not component, we can consider a small current element. One small current element you considered at the top of the ring, the other current element you can consider at the bottom of the ring. At the bottom of the ring, where you can consider that ring here. See, this is the small current element we considered, just opposite to the current element which we have taken earlier. Now due to this current element, we will have again a magnetic field here, and that magnetic field will be in which direction? That magnetic field will be in this direction, like this. What you have to do before this, like you joined this current element to point P with the help of r vector, again you would be doing the same thing like this, joining the small current element to the point P, and then only you will get dB perpendicular to this value r. This value will be equals to r, like you have written here. Here also we can write r vector. I'm not able to write, but you try to understand. Okay, now after that what we can do, like we did components here, at the top of this magnetic field which was due to this current element, we can do again components of this magnetic field which will be due to this small current element. Now the components due to the dB, other dB will be like this. One will be just in downward direction and one will be in the one will be towards x axis. Now what you can see one component we were having here which was dB perpendicular, and this component also will be equal to dB perpendicular because they are same in magnitude and opposite in direction. So what they can do, they can cancel each other, and what will you have? You will have the net magnetic field due to the horizontal components only. So we will be having net magnetic field due to horizontal components only. Okay, so if you understood that the net magnetic field will be due to the horizontal components, then check student, the horizontal components are along which axis? You can easily say, sir, it is along x axis. Okay, if it is along x axis, then what we can say? We can say that the same thing I have written here, this is same, that the perpendicular components will cancel each other and the net magnetic field will be due to dB x components which were horizontal components. Okay, now after this you can see here this net magnetic field will be due to the integration, means sum. We will be doing sum of all the horizontal components. Here we have taken only two small elements. Like this we can take so many pair of small elements, right? So due to all of these horizontal components, or you can say parallel components, there will be net magnetic field like I have shown here B. So it will be the integration of all such components. Which one? dB cos theta components. This is the value of dB I have written, which we found earlier, and this is the value of cos theta. The value of cos theta we can find out with the help of figure. If you look at the figure here you can see this angle was theta. This angle is theta. If this angle is theta, then this angle will also be equal to theta. Okay, and if this angle is theta, then what will be the value of cos theta? Since cos theta is perpendicular upon hypotenuse, then perpendicular you can see it is r and hypotenuse will be x square plus r square in under root. Using this you can find out the value of cos theta. Okay, here is the value of cos theta. You can see after solving all of these things you will get this expression, right children? Then what is next? We have integration dl only we will be having here. Integration dl will be equal to the circumference of the loop. Why? Look here, this dl was a small current element of this whole loop. So if we are doing integration dl means total length of the loop, and total length of the loop will be equal to the circumference. If it is equals to the circumference, we have written here 2 pi r, and after solving this you will get magnetic field formula due to small current, due to a circular current carrying loop. It will be mu naught upon 2 ir upon x square plus r square whole to the power 3 by 2. Like that you will be getting magnetic field at point P, which is at a distance x from the center of loop. Now after that children, what we can do, you can see here, since net magnetic field is along x axis, we can also write in vector form that B vector will be equal to B I cap, because I cap is the unit vector along x axis only. After this again we have written the same formula, but this time we have written in the vector form. Then at the center of loop, if we will try to find out the magnetic field at the center of loop, then what we can say? We can say that this point P we will take to the center. We will take to the center of the ring or loop. You can say if we will take it to the center of the ring, then what will be the value of this x? What will be the value of x? Value of x will be equal to 0. If value of x will be equal to 0, then the same we can put here, x is equals to 0 in the above formula. In this formula we can put this value, and after putting value we will get this answer, that b is equals to mu naught upon 2 I upon r I cap, or in the scalar form you can just write mu naught upon 2 I upon r. This will be the magnetic field due to circular current carrying loop, which is having current I, and the radius of loop is capital R. This you can say. After that, this was all about the direction of this was all about the magnitude of magnetic field at the center of loop or at a point which is at some distance away from the origin. Now let us talk about the direction. What will be the direction of magnetic field at the center of current carrying loop, right? At point P, far away from the center, there we studied, but let us see what will be the direction of magnetic field at the center of loop. For this we will refer our NCERT page number 146. Here you can see this, we have a current, here we have a current carrying loop. In this current carrying loop you can see the direction of current, and due to the current flowing in the conductor you can see magnetic field lines. Okay, you can see magnetic field lines. How we got these magnetic field lines? These magnetic field lines you can have after applying after applying right hand thumb rule. You hold the conductor in your right hand so that the thumb points in the direction of current, then you can have the direction of magnetic field. One more thing you will see, as you move away from the conductor, that means away from the conductor means if you are here then this side, and if you are here then this side. That means I am talking about interior part of this circular ring, you can say circular loop. If you move away from the conductor or move towards the center from this side or this side, you will see that the magnetic field lines will take the form of straight line, and at the center of the loop they will be exactly a straight line. So this is important point to be noted, that the magnetic field line due to a circular current carrying loop will be a straight line. At the center it will be a straight line. This fact you have already studied in class 10th. Okay, so this was all about the direction. Now let us see what we have next. Next is our Ampere circuital law. This is very important law. What is Ampere circuital law? In Ampere circuital law we have a closed surface. We have a closed surface. This by green color you can see the closed surface here. In this through this closed surface, what you will be having? You will be having current. The current carrying wires, or you can, yes, conductors only. Through conductors only current can flow. Conductors alloys. So you have current carrying elements or current carrying wires. Those current carrying wires are passing through this closed loop. There is a ring, there is a loop. Remember, again in another way we try to understand this. There is a loop. Now this loop, in this loop there is no conductor. Okay, through this loop there are some wires which are passing through, and through these wires current is passing. Through these wires current is passing. Suppose I current is passing through this closed loop. This loop, what is the name of this loop? This loop name is Amperian loop. What is its name? Its name is Amperian loop. Now what is our Ampere circuital law says? Let us see. According to Ampere circuital law, closed line integration, this is the mathematical form. While reading this statement you can also see this mathematical expression. Closed line integration of magnetic field. Here you can see this is closed line integration of magnetic field. Closed line integration of magnetic field will be equal to mu naught times of the net current. Mu naught times of the net current which will be passing through the closed surface. As you can see here, through this closed surface how much current is passing? I current. So what we have written here? I. What is I here? I is the net current. And why mu naught has come here? Due to the Ampere circuital law, because of its statement. See, it will be equal to magnetic field, closed line integration of magnetic field will be equal to mu naught times of the net current passing through the closed surface or closed loop. This is the mathematical expression of Ampere's circuital law, and this closed loop through which current will will go through, this is known as Amperian loop. Now with the help of Ampere's circuital law, we can find out magnetic field due to various things. Like here you can see, due to straight current carrying conductor, we are trying to find that the magnitude of magnetic field. So how can we do that? Let us understand first of all the figure. What figure says? Figure says that there is a straight current carrying conductor, and this conductor is of infinite length. Second thing, there is I current flowing in this conductor. Third thing, there is an Amperian loop, okay, closed loop, through which this current I is passing. Fourth thing, there is a point P we have taken here, and remember this point P, wherever this point P will be, like P point is what? P point is that point where we have to find out magnetic field, okay. And remember, the Amperian loop, when you will consider around any conductor, then that Amperian loop should pass through the point where you have to find out magnetic field, okay. Next thing is here on the Amperian loop we have taken a very small part, and that small part is of length dl, right, and it will be a vector quantity, so it will have some direction. Now what will be the direction? Direction will be in the same, the direction of dl will be in the same direction where you have magnetic field, right. How can you find out the direction of magnetic field? Direction of magnetic field you can find out very easily. Put your thumb in the direction of current and curl your fingers. You will find out that the curling of fingers will be in this way of your right hand. So at point P we can draw a tangent which will represent the direction of B, as well as the same tangent can represent the direction of DL. One thing is clear, that between B and DL there is zero angle. That zero angle we have shown here in the expansion of B dot DL. This expression we have written using Ampere's circuital law. We are doing substitutions in the left hand side. You can see here we put the value of theta equal to 0. Cos 0 will be equal to 1. So what will you have? BDL. B we have taken outside, integration DL is left here. Integration DL will be equal to the circumference. Circumference of what? Circumference of this Amperian loop. Circumference of this Amperian loop. Why? Because DL was a very small part of this Amperian loop, right? So integration DL will be its total length. It is equals to mu naught I. From here, if you want to find out magnetic field, then magnetic field will be mu naught upon 2 pi I upon R. This is the formula of magnetic field due to a straight current carrying conductor at a point P, which is at a distance R from it, away from it. You can also write in this form, okay, by multiplying 2 in numerator and denominator. Now we have one question. Question is like what? Question, this is a derivation in the form of question. So what we have here, you can see this is the wire, this big size, two lines. You can see these two lines are just representing a wire. In this wire a current is flowing, that current is equal to I. Now there are 2 points we are considering. One point we are considering outside wire, and one point we are considering inside wire, okay. Radius of wire, radius of cross section of wire is A, and what we will do, first of all we will try to find out magnetic field due to this straight current carrying conductor at a point which is outside, So what we have to do for this, just we will follow the same process which we followed just before this, this we were studying. So this is for the same, that magnetic field outside a conductor, outside a straight current carrying conductor. So the same result will come, mu naught upon 2 pi I upon R. The thing is, we just want to show that outside conductor, you can see the relationship between B and R is that they are inversely proportional to each other. Now let us look for the part when we are finding inside wire. We have a point now, and this time the point is inside wire. As you can see, r is less than a. This point, wait a minute, I will show you. Okay, this point, this distance, it was written here r1, but do not take it equal to r1. This is r only. Okay, now this point we have taken, it is inside the wire. The distance of this point from the center of the wire will be equal to r, same like you were having outside. A is the area, radius of the area of cross section of wire, so it is very easy to say that r in this case will be less than a. Okay, now for this part again what we are doing, we will apply Ampere circuital law. So you can see here integration b dot dl is equals to mu naught I dash. Now this time I have taken I dash. Why I have taken I dash? Let us understand. I was the current flowing through whole of the cross section, right? And now this time which cross section, through which cross section we want? We want through this cross section. Yes, through this part only we want to find out that how much current is flowing in this direction through this cross section. That I have taken equal to I dash. I is the current which is traveling through whole of the wire. I want to find out through this cross section only that how much current is flowing. That we have taken equal to I dash. Now let us see how can we find out this current. Okay, so how can we find out? Look here. When the area of cross section was pi a square means whole area of cross section of whole wire. When area of cross section was pi a square, then current flowing was I. Then for unit area of cross section, what we can say? Current will be I upon pi a square. But we are not finding for unit, we are finding out for pi r square area of cross section, the smaller one, remember? So for this area of cross section, this will be the current flowing. For this reason we have considered that current flowing will be equal to I dash. So after solving this we will get the value of I dash as I r square upon a square. Okay, then in the Ampere circuital law we substituted. Left side we will solve in the same way. b dot dl will be equal to b dl cos theta, and cos theta value will be equal to 1 again because theta is 0. In place of I dash we substituted the value. Okay, and after solving this we will get expression b is equals to mu naught upon 2 pi I r upon a square. From this expression you can see that the relationship between b and r is they are both directly proportional to each other. Now what is the meaning of directly proportional to each other? Now just try to understand here. Okay, try to understand. I will explain you with the help of figure. Right, now if you are suppose like this is the center of the wire. From the center of wire you are moving towards the edge of wire or the surface of wire. Then because inside we have seen b will be proportional to r, that means if the distance r is increasing then magnetic field will also increase and it will be maximum on the surface, right? After that, if suppose we continued moving, then we came outside wire. Outside wire we have relationship that b will be inversely proportional to r. That means if we have come outside wire and is still continuing to move, then the magnetic field will start decreasing with increase in distance. This is opposite relationship between inside and outside wire. Reasons inside and outside wire. So this was an important thing. The same relationship we have shown with the help of this graph. You look here, here we have taken b, here we have taken r. Between them we are drawing graph. Because this axis represents r, so at a time r will be equal to a, that we have represented with the help of this point. So this boundary is representing that r is equal to a. That means towards left it is r less than a and towards right it is r more than a. For r more than a we have relationship that B is inversely proportional to R, and for R greater than A we have B inversely proportional to R, and for R less than A we have relationship direct proportionality. That's why you can see graph first increasing and that it started decreasing. We have a curve here. So this was the relationship between B and R for a wire. Okay, that was an important question for your board exams as well. Now here is your homework. What is your homework? Your homework today I am giving you 4 questions. Today I am giving you 4 questions. All the 4 questions are based on the formula which we studied today. We studied 1, 2, 3, 4 derivations we studied. On the basis of those derivations you can easily do these questions, and after that let us see few questions now. Already 30 minutes passed away. So the first question, what is first question? First question is, there is a small current element. This current element is of length delta x. This current element is lying along x-axis. So you can see here the length of current element has I cap, right? The value of delta x is 1 centimeter. Current element is of length 1 centimeter. Current flowing in it is 10 ampere, and at a distance of 0.5 meter on y-axis, at a distance of 0.5 meter away from origin, we have to find out magnetic field. Because this is a current element, so magnetic field due to current element we can find out with the help of Biot-Savart law. Let us apply Biot-Savart law. We applied here. Here we can see the theta. Theta means the direction of dl and the direction of r has 90-degree angle. So theta will be equal to 90. Mu naught upon 4 pi is 10 to the power minus 7. I is 10 ampere. Delta L is 10 to the power minus 2 meter. And R is 0.5 meter. Putting all these values in the formula, we can have delta B in units of Tesla, right? After this, one more important question you have. Look here. This is a theoretical question as well, numerical as well as theoretical. What is question? There was a straight wire. That wire was having current 12 ampere. 12 ampere current was there. It was that wire is bent into semicircular arc, like you can see here. Okay, of radius 2 centimeter. The radius is 2 centimeter. Consider the magnetic field B at the center of arc. So we have to look for the magnetic field at the center of this arc. First part is, what is magnetic field due to straight elements? Can you see these straight elements? Due to these straight elements, we have to find out first magnetic field at the center of this, you can say at the center of this arc. So what could be the magnetic field due to straight current elements? If you remember in Biot-Savart law, remember what we studied? We studied that magnetic field also depends between the angle, on the angle which is made between R and dl vector, right? So what you can take here, these straight parts, from these straight parts we have taken a current element. It will have dl length. The direction of dl will be like this, right? Now if the direction of dl is like this, then where will be the direction of B? I am drawing again. This will be the direction of dl vector. This was the point where we have to find out magnetic field. Now from this point towards, from this current element towards point, what we will have? We will have R vector. Now here you can see, because of the straight current elements, the angle between them going to be 0. If theta will be equal to 0, then sine theta will be equal to 0, and there will be no magnetic field, then we can say due to the straight current carrying elements. Same thing you can apply here. For this part, direction of dl will be like this, because it is given by the direction of current. This is the point where we have to find out magnetic field. So like this you will have R vector. Between these two vectors the angle will be 180 degree. Sine 180, again it will give you 0 value. So for both the sides you are getting the same result, that there will be no magnetic field contributed due to the straight current carrying parts at the center of this arc. Whatever magnetic field you will have, that magnetic field will be due to this semicircular arc. So let us find out the magnetic field due to semicircular arc. Due to whole circular loop, the magnetic field we have seen today, it is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi 2I upon r. Then using this formula we can find out magnetic field, and it will come in Tesla. All the values are given here. We have already discussed. I is given, r is given. These things only we want. Okay, now what you can do, for the whole loop you can calculate, and after that you can do its half. Then you will have magnetic field due to the semicircular loop. Now try to understand the direction of this magnetic field at the center of the loop. What will it be? For that we have to move to the figure. Now for the circular current carrying loops or the semicircular loops, what we have to do, the right hand thumb rule which we were applying for the straight current carrying conductors, what we studied there, that keep your thumb in the direction of current and curl your fingers. Now what we have to do for circular loops, curl your fingers in the direction of current. That means opposite, in the opposite sense we will apply. We will use fingers to represent the direction of current. So if you will curl your fingers of the right hand, in what way? In this way, then your thumb will obviously point in a direction which will be into the plane of paper. That means like this. So the same we have written here, perpendicular to plane directed inward, right? And in the next part, let me tell you in short what they are asking. They are asking that what will be the contribution if the same thing you have, but the semicircular arc is on other side. Then due to the straight current parts, there will be no magnetic field. Magnetic field will be due to the semicircular arc, and at the center the magnitude of the magnetic field is going to be same. But what will change? The direction of magnetic field. Here you see, if you will curl your fingers in the direction of current, like you can see in the loop, semicircular loop, then your thumb obviously it will point towards you. That means perpendicular to plane directed outward it will point. This is only the difference, otherwise no difference. These were the two questions which we have taken today. Homework already I have given you. If you have not seen, just take its screenshot and do these questions and send your answers to me on my personal number. So this is all about chapter 4 in this video lecture today. The remaining parts we will study in the next lecture. Till then, keep revising.